I want to run this at you, see what you think, see what everybody thinks. Jason Dumas, one of our good friends, on with Bonte and Joe earlier today, and this idea, and you trumpeted this for a few months. This town ain't big enough for Jordan and Draymond. Well, maybe it was actually Jordan and Steve Kerr.
I honestly think the relationship between him and Steve was more of what got him traded than the relationship with him and Draymond Green. I just think Steve was kind of fed up with the fact that Jordan was kind of huffing and puffing that he wasn't in the right role for him. And I think that had more to do with him being moved than that punch. No, the punch didn't help, and his and Draymond's relationship wasn't great. But I think Steve was more fed up than anything.
So this is another one of those things, as I said in the crossover, that to me it's very, very buyable. This is it makes all the sense in the world when you hear that and you start looking. Again, Steve Kerr would have Jordan's back all the time in press conferences because they're professionals and that's what they do. But Steiny points out that game in Cleveland when Jordan took an 8-second violation, or any of the outbursts that we've watched from any of the players during games. Then flash forward to Steve Kerr going on Draymond's podcast and talking about how you don't see any of Miami's role players having a problem with their role. They're singularly focused on one thing. And then you watch the Warriors go out and sign a bunch of people who all the reporters have called Steve Kerr-type players.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? It tells you whoever's on the way out is I guess, not a Steve Kerr-type player. And so what Jason is saying makes all the sense in the world.
It makes sense that Steve Kerr is a piece of it, and I don't know if Steve Kerr is the one voice in the room, and Draymond and Clay and Steph are all saying, let's give the kid a chance. And Steve Kerr, darn it, no. I'm fed up with Jordan Poole. I think that Steve and Draymond, Clay and Steph, and whatever front office players or people are remaining, and I know the coaching staff is turned over a little bit. Jama Malalila is no longer there.
Nice job.
Appreciate one last time. And I know that there's been some turnover, but I would imagine that organizationally, there's a level of frustration about Jordan Poole and the way he played, not the way he worked. And I mentioned this earlier. He got punched in October, and he went out and finished his workout. Anyway, even after that embarrassing moment, before it got leaked, he was putting in the work. But I don't think that Jordan Poole was necessarily sold out to play the way that Steve Kerr wanted him to play.
Yep.
And the frustration from Clay and Steph, we know Draymond was frustrated and Steve Kerr was frustrated. And so you get to the end of the year and you realize, okay, we need to make changes going into next year. What change could we possibly make? Well, we want Draymond back, and Wiggins is going to be back, and Looney and Steph and Clay. And if we have Dre back and all that, well, who's the odd man out? Pretty obvious.
888-957-9570. Let's go to Jay in Oakland. Hey, Jay, you're on with Willard and Dibs. What are you doing?
Just making it through Concord. Happy to be through the traffic.
Good luck, man.
Nice northbound 680. Probably backed up from about Geary. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, when it comes to trash talk, like anything outside of the game, I feel like you're rolling your dice because you never know how someone's going to react to a personal attack. And Jordan rolled the dice and he lost. That doesn't excuse Draymond, but that's kind of just, you played the game and you lost type situation.
I agree with that. Like, I do think, I don't know how to write them down with words, but there are rules. There are rules. So, like, to say Draymond enjoys trash talk, so that means, like, you should be able to say anything you want to him, and he should be able to just nod his head with a smile, like, yeah, keep it coming, and I'm gonna take it the same way I can dish it. No, you can take it too far. It's just like anything. Anything you're joking around with in life, you can take it too far.
But we don't know that he took it too far.
Well, I'm not even talking about that specific moment. I'm talking about the full picture of Warrior basketball over the last year and a half, and yeah, he took it too far. Absolutely, he took it too far.
Oh, Draymond took it too far, and Draymond let him get to him. And you cannot be the most noted trash talker around and allow some 23-year-old whippersnapper to get to you.
I don't agree with that. See,
I do agree with that because you're the OG. You're the one who's like, you're
Well,
the trash talk king.
But you're making it sound like that means that anybody can say anything to him and you can't have feelings about it. Like, we don't know anything about where this went. And
we don't know what he said, but we do know this. If he said something to Draymond so inflammatory, he doesn't casually stroll over there and get in his face. If he would have said something about Draymond that was so personal, you go off like a firecracker.
But you're making it about that moment. And my perception is it's not just about that moment. This, to me, based on all the evidence we have, if I'm in a court of law, we've got a build-up situation. And Jordan is almost creating a brand within that locker room. And the brand was, I can take on the culture because this culture is holding me down. I need to spread my wings and fly.
Right.
And if he did actually start talking about, I got a contract and you're not going to, in other words, if these guys felt that tucked within the trash talk is Jordan Poole actually starting to erode their chances at more rings, oh, hell yeah, you're out of bounds and they'll punch you. Because that's not fun anymore. That's not trash talk.
Right.
That's messing with people's money and legacy.
But if you're a leader, you handle it in a different fashion.
Of course,
and we did this show a few days ago. I don't want to revisit it, but yes, there are things that you could say that cross the line. But to me, talking about how I'm paid and you're not, that's not punch-worthy. But I think you're right in terms of there had already been a collective number of things that have been built up over whatever period of time. And then you hear the Jason Dumas comments from earlier this morning talking about, Steve Kerr was even fed up with him. And if that's where all this led, then of course Jordan Poole is going to be elsewhere.